Hi, I'm Brad Fraser, and welcome to Jawbreaker. We have a very special show today. We have your favorite people from your favorite show, Queer as Folk. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. I'm Brad Fraser. This is Jawbreaker, and you're in for a treat today because we have the Queer as Folk crowd. We have costume designer Patrick Antosh. We have executive producer and co-creator Daniel Lippman, and actor Robert Gant, who plays Ben on the show. That's his name. I didn't forget. I just had a little bit of a brain fart there. It happens every once in a while.
You were thinking of the first question.
I was. So, guys, welcome.
And might I also add Brad Fraser.
And Brad Fraser, and I do work on the show. That's right. So, as I said last year, don't expect any hard-hitting questions. It'll just be a lot of ass-kissing and brown-nosing. How are you LA guys dealing with Toronto right now? It's been pretty fucking cold here this last week or so.
It's unbelievable. Last week at this time, I was tootling around in my car in Los Angeles. As Brad was also. Yeah. 80-degree weather, and Bobby was
Beautiful.
too.
I had the top down the whole time.
And we come here, was it 30 below?
30, 40 below. Wind chill factor of minus 50. And you go into, like, immediate physical shock when you walk off the plane when you're used to it. I mean, Robert, you're a Floridian.
Yeah, I'm from Florida, so I have to say it's been a huge shift. I went to school in the Northeast, but this is much farther north.
Right.
And I've never experienced the skin stuff it's just incredible.
Moisturize.
But I have to say,
moisturize
a lot. Yeah, and drink.
Yes.
Water
and alcohol, whatever you need to do. Now, Patrick, you're actually not only from Toronto, but you're from rural Ontario, so you've got to be used to this cold, bitchy winter business.
In fact, that's what I can't understand is how the whole town shuts down the first time there's a snowstorm.
Oh, I know.
It's like, come on.
Put your boots on, get a scarf, grab your parka, and go.
And learn how to drive.
Exactly. Now, how does a kid from rural Ontario end up working for the biggest, gayest cable show on television?
That's total fluke. I was actually in Paris for 6 months, and I got a call to do a movie, and while I was on that movie, I got a call to do this show. And I didn't really want to do a TV series full-time, so I said I would do it part-time, and I was surprised they actually were going to take me on. But after 2 weeks, they're like, we really want you full-time. And Dan and Ron have loved me ever since, and then I love everybody else back.
No, Patrick, if I might add, Patrick has proven invaluable to the show, and he's been there from the beginning, and I couldn't do it without him.
Well, let's talk about that a bit, because a lot of our viewers, a lot of the QAF's viewers, don't realize just how much work goes on backstage before anything makes it to the screen. I know you end up costuming a lot of people. Why don't you talk a bit about that, Patrick, and let us know, how many people you do and what's involved with it.
Actually, this show has taught me more about gay lifestyle and everything. When I did move here, actually I didn't move here till a year after being on the show, but that first year I was making it all up. I'd never been in a club like any of those.
Really?
Hadn't seen that scene, didn't know nothing at all. Like, I wasn't stupid, but I was like happily married, living in the country quiet.
Right.
And now I've learned everything. Now I'm like the pro. In fact, I'm telling them stuff. But no, it's there's the 9 lead cast. Some of them are really flashy, like Debbie and Emmett. So I love to build things from scratch if I can. I don't build it myself. We have tailors and I've got shoppers and whatever. But, I mean, you got the 9 lead cast, you have all these day players, there's always like 6 or 7 of them at least per episode, and then 200 people clubbing it. So it's a lot of clothes.
That's a lot of
stuff.
I'm going to toot his horn because he works his tail off. Yeah. I guess it's amazing. Sometimes I'll say, where did you get that costume? Like, there's this whole drag thing where did you find it? He's like, I made it. Yeah. And there's so many examples of times when he says,
so you do actually build a lot of your own costumes, or have your costumes built.
In fact, I'm the one that brought the shows to the show. I begged them second year to bring Stefan on. Like I said, I've been going out to the clubs. I see these big show things that go on with Go-Go Boys and everything. And it took a long time to talk them into it. And then we did the first one. It was like, now it's really pivotal. In fact, every time we have one of those, you'll notice, or you may not have noticed, but it always reflects what that episode is about. Right. Example being last year there was a Barbie thing. Mm-hmm. We had Emmett and Ted getting their dream house. We had Ben dabbling in steroids. So we had this bodybuilder chick as a Barbie doll blah, blah, blah.
So it does actually comment on what's going on
totally.
in the show. Now, Robert, you came to the show a bit later than everyone else. You weren't part of the original cast. You came in the second season as Hal Sparks' love interest, of course, everyone's favorite college professor and writer, Ben Bruckner, who abuses steroids and gets into all kinds of things. What was it like...
And a big season ahead.
And a big season ahead, yes. Well, be careful on that. What was it like coming in to a dynamic that had already been established? I mean, everyone else on the show had been together for a year, and they eventually you sort of hit a rhythm and you get accustomed to working with one another. Did you feel like an outsider coming in?
I was I think a little bit tentative. I was uncertain what the environment would be. I knew Peter Page coming in, somewhat from LA, but I have to say it was such a warm place. I felt very quickly a part of, and the producers. I mean, they were really amazing about helping to make that happen.
You hear that a lot around town a lot. You hear about people who do guest spots on a lot of different television shows and that kind of thing. When I run into them, they go, "Oh, you work on Queer as Folk. I love going on to that set because everybody's so friendly and it's so relaxed." And I guess some other sets aren't like that, but I think we're a little spoiled because we live in our own little gay cable universe and get to do what we want to. We don't really have a sense of how hard it is for people out there. Dan,
part of why,
go ahead.
Part of why I think that is the case, and I've said it before, I think has something to do with the nature of the show. And having worked on a lot of other shows back in LA, where there isn't an undercurrent of meaning, it's a sitcom or it's whatever, I think there's just something else that's brought to this experience that people care. And
I think as well, though, it's the overt sexuality on the show brings down your guard. Like, I use dirty language way more than I ever did, and it comes out naturally
God, you should hear the writer's room.
No, but I mean, I'm out on the street. Like, I go into a store to buy some stuff, and I go through my bag, and all these condoms fall out because they're for a scene that we're doing, and we got to get some bag for Brian to have or whatever.
Well, I just wanted to
I'll
say,
use the word blowjob.
I just wanted to say, just in terms of what Bobby said, I don't think people realize that when you produce a show, of course, everything is geared towards what we see in front of the camera. But part of the job is to, especially on a long-running series, is to create an environment where people want to come and work. Because, if you're doing a one-shot, a movie, whatever, you can deal with any asshole for, okay, it's 3 months, I'm going to just, bite the bullet and do it. But for 4 years, 5 years, whatever, you've got to create an environment where people want to come to work, they feel safe, they feel that they can be creative, and this is a very big part of what I do, and it makes me feel really good to know that. And Ron also,
actually is setting it up. But on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll have more dirt, and I think we'll probably get Robert to take his clothes off before the end of the show. So please come back.